welcome to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. We have a dessert for you today. I'm going to be making a cinnamon swirl bundt cake. So what is this making? It's a cinnamon swirl. You'll see is that we're gonna use actually a basic yellow cake mix, or you can use white cake mix, doesn't matter. And we're gonna mix it just as though we're making it regular. A couple little things I'm going to add. I'll talk about it along the way. We're gonna then pour half of that into our bundt cake pan here, and then we're gonna add a little treat I'll talk to you about. So I have the oven preheated, so it's all set to go. So let's go on and add our ingredients. The first thing I'm gonna put in, again, whatever your favorite yellow cake mix. So you're just gonna add that and just even this out a little bit. To that, you're going to add your eggs. And what I would recommend is just use whatever the instruction says in terms of eggs, oil, and water. Some people do substitutes if you don't use the oil. I'm just gonna kind of follow the cake mix box as it says there. And this, I am adding a little extra vanilla, which the cake mix wouldn't say to do. So with that, we're gonna get it started. Let me make sure it's secure. I'm gonna let it start mixing. And I try to talk over this, because I need that mixing while I'm working on this. One thing you wanna make sure, when you're using and you're spraying your pans, try not to spray it too early, because what happens is it'll start, congregating, if you will, on the bottom of the pan. But we're gonna spray it now, but we're gonna add two things that may be a surprise for you. So first of all, let's go on and spray the pan. I'm gonna do that nicely all over. Make sure you're spraying the flue as well. So we have that nicely sprayed. I don't want to get choked. What we're gonna do also to add to this cake is this is actually 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm actually gonna spread that on the bottom of the cake. Now you might say, oh God, is that gonna stick? Believe it or not, it's actually something that helps it to loosen up. Then we're gonna sprinkle some cinnamon on top of that. Okay, so the sugar goes down as a base. And it's in a way it's kind of like you're making a crumb, okay? If you think about a cinnamon crumb mix, that's kind of what we're creating here. So you're sprinkling this, not to cover the sugar completely, but mostly. All right, now that that is done, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna let that mix a little bit more, then we're gonna add our walnuts. But in the meantime, this is cinnamon and sugar. Look in the description for the quantities. But I'm gonna just put it in my mixing bowl here. I'm gonna mix it up nicely. This is going to be put in the middle of the cake, and then we're gonna swirl it around. Actually, one of the things I do need is a knife, so I'm gonna get just a little butter knife would be great. If you get that, that'd be awesome. Okay, so let's stop here for a second. Let's take this, and it's looking really good. That has mixed quite well. I had it on medium, so that was a good speed. Okay, so let's put this over here. Let's take this off. Of course, you all know how much I love my KitchenAid. Let's get it out of the way. And I'm going to, of course, make sure the bottom is covered completely and it has mixed extremely well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my walnuts. And basically I have just a half a cup of chopped walnuts. So we're going to fold that in together. And then to the bundt pan, we are going to pour half of this into the bundt pan, okay? So just mixing it around really nicely because I want the walnuts to be throughout the entire batter. So let's move this over here. We're gonna now, again, take half of it and spread in the pan, like so. And then we're gonna stop there. And I'm going to now take my mixture. This again is my cinnamon and sugar mixture. So you'll see it's mixed really nicely there. And we're gonna spread all of this over the entirety of the cake mix that's already in there. Now, what makes this a cinnamon swirl is that I am going to now take my knife. Be careful, don't go to the bottom because we're not trying to stir up the sugar on the bottom. That's almost going to be kind of like a little coating for you. So now that you have that there, we're going to put the top, the remaining batter, and then we're going to take our knife and we're going to just swirl it so it mixes with what's on the top and what's on the bottom. Okay, so we're just nicely evenly spreading this out, making sure it's covered completely. Now, if you're nervous about making sure you have enough, if you need to pour it in a separate dish, you can do that. I'm just kind of eyeballing it here, and then I'll use my spatula to just spread it out some. So let's make sure, nice thing about using this is that it gets every morsel out of the dish. Okay, so we're gonna last little bit, and then let's put this here. Now I'm going to just kind of make sure I have it evenly spread, okay, so that it's covering every bit, and I don't want to leave any here, so we're going to use our fingers. Excuse me, and thank goodness for paper towels. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just take our knife, and this is what is going to swirl that cinnamon and sugar around. Remember, don't go all the way to the bottom. So all you're doing is just doing a circle around, so you're making sure and that you're getting the cinnamon spread kind of throughout. Okay, that's what gives it the swirl. Again, as I said, just make sure you are not going to the bottom because we're not trying to stir that up. Okay, all right, so now that you've got this kind of just a little created a swirl, if you will, within the body of the cake, we are ready to put it in the oven. Okay, so we're going to put it in the oven, bake it for the amount of whatever it says on your cake mix box. Oftentimes, if you use a coated butt pan or pan, it's a little less. So I have 325 on my oven. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to time it for 25 minutes, but I'm going to check on it at 20 minutes. You all know how I am. And again, yours might be longer, shorter, not going to be shorter than 20 minutes, but certainly the overall cooking time might be different based on your oven. So let's go on, put it in the oven, and then we'll see the masterpiece when we come back. Okay, we're back. My cake took just about 35 minutes. Of course, I checked on it at 25, just about 35 minutes to finish. I want to offer up one other option for you. If you don't want to put the sugar and the cinnamon on the bottom, the other thing you can do is you can take a mixture, and I'll put this in the description, just a combination of cinnamon and confectionery sugar. And you can take that in your, and basically sprinkle it on the top, okay? So that's another, if you don't want the sugar on the bottom, the confectionery sugar, you're using less sugar and cinnamon, and you can put it on top. But you definitely will make sure it is completely cool when doing that. So I do want you to, it's a beautiful cake. So first of all, I want you to see that, and then just give you a sense for what it looks like on the inside. So this has been cooling for, I would say just about 15 minutes or so. And as I'm realizing, it is crumbling a little bit on me, but it is a crumb cake, right? I did say cinnamon swirl crumb cake is what it is. So here we're gonna pull it out here. I'm gonna take some of this in the middle. But one of the things I want you to be able to see is how we swirled around that cinnamon sugar mixture, and it gets through the entirety of the cake. This is super moist. Again, I actually should have let it cool just a little bit longer. So give it about 20 minutes or so. This has been about 15, and it should cut beautifully. But let's give it a taste. Super delicious. Love the walnuts. You're going to enjoy it. Again, 2 variations. If you want to add the sugar on the top, not on the bottom. But hope you enjoy this as much as we have and will. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe button. I come out with a video every other week. A recipe that's simple, delicious, and a healthier version to it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Certainly like us and share us on social media. Thank you. Bye-bye.